Subtitle: The Flames of Betrayal, Chapter 1. The wounded enemy. The scent of blood had long since faded into Ella's reality, blending with the sterile sharpness of medicine and the damp, cold air of the infirmary. She was used to the metallic tamps of it, to the sight of torn flesh and broken bodies lying on the cots around her. But nothing had prepared her for the moment when she turned and saw him. The door swung open, and two uniformed soldiers entered, carrying between them a man whose weight made their steps stagger. The general's son, Kane Draxon. The moment his name had reached the whispers of the resistance, it had become synonymous with danger. The son of General Caden Voss, the man responsible for the destruction of her homeland. The ruthless warrior raised to see her people as nothing more than subjects to be controlled. Hatred simmered in her chest, but she masked it with the cold professionalism that had kept her alive this long. "He needs treatment," one of the soldiers barked. Ilya forced herself to nod, stepping forward as she gritted her teeth. The general's son had no business being here. The soldiers had their own medics, their own doctors, so why had they brought him to her? She dipped a cloth in water and pressed it against his wound, the warm crimson spreading like ink. His body tensed, and a sharp breath escaped his lips. "Try not to move," she said flatly. His gaze snapped to hers. She expected him to be groggy from blood loss, but instead, his eyes stormy gray, intense, held her captive. The moment stretched too long, a thin thread of something unspoken tightening between them. Ilya swallowed hard. Get a grip. He was the enemy, and she was here to do her duty, nothing more. She stitched the wound quickly, efficiently, never speaking more than necessary. But when she reached for a clean bandage, his voice broke the silence. "You're not afraid of me," he said, watching her. Ilya didn't look at him. Should I be? Most of the occupied kingdom cowered before men like him. She wouldn't. Kane exhaled through his nose, something close to amusement flickering in his gaze. But before he could say anything more, the soldier beside him spoke. "She's the best nurse here. That's why we brought you to her." Ella's hands faltered for a fraction of a second before she resumed wrapping the bandage. She had treated enemy soldiers before, but never anyone this high-ranking. If they were taking notice of her, that was dangerous. She tightened the bandage a little harder than necessary. Kane flinched but said nothing. When she finished, she stood, wiping hands on a cloth. "He'll live." Kane studied her one last time before the soldiers hauled him to his feet and led him out of the infirmary. Only when the door shut behind them did Ilya let out a shaky breath. Her hands were still trembling, not from fear, from something far more dangerous.